Oh boy, it's that time again, folks. We're talking about mascot horror, the genre that has lived through it all. What started with good old Freddy Fazbear and then grew, and grew, and grew. But is it just me, or has the genre died down? Of course, there's still the occasional updates from what I would consider the mascot horror big three, of course being FNAF, Poppy Playtime, and the best of them all, Garten of Banban. But aside from them, I've noticed the lack of new games in the genre. And I'm not just talking about good new games either. I haven't really seen any. Not even the low-budget crappy cash grab ones like Playtown or Musi. What the? Ow! Shit! What was that? Oh? I guess I take it back. Dark Pals, a new mascot horror game created by the YouTube channel Horror Skunx. You know the one, they made this.
Hey guys! Can I run with you? Yeah! No!
Yeah, you all heard that right. Horror Skunx, the same people that made the cinematic masterpiece Lily and Rory's sad origin story from Poppy Playtime 5, made a mascot horror game. To catch you all up, Horror Skunx is a YouTube channel that uses shockingly impressive visual effects work to make brain rot. They're the sole reason that gems like 6'7 Kid, Unstoppable official music video, and the Boo Boo sad origin story exist on this mortal plane. I was originally going to do a video about the absolute shit show Subliminal, but when I saw that this game had released, I asked myself, has anyone actually heard of this game before it actually released a few weeks ago as of writing the script? Short answer, yes, but I'll talk more on that later. For now, let's just talk a little bit about my immediate thoughts about this game, just based on what I can see from the Steam page. Already just from the Steam page, I have low hopes for this game. Is it just me, or does the description of this game look like it was AI generated? Once bright, cheerful, and welcoming, it now stands warped by time, neglect, and forgotten memories. This description seems to me like they were in a rush to get a Steam page out, so they quickly gave ChatGPT a short description of the game and told it to generate an About Me script. Something just seems so unnatural about it. Also, I'd like to point out that this game supposedly takes place in a children's mental health facility, and the only way that I know this is from the description, because from what I could tell, there is nothing in the actual game that tells you this. There isn't even an opening like most other games do, or at least introduce you to the context of the story. Even Banban sort of does this. Come on, Horror Skunx, you gotta up your game if even Banban is beating you. Another thing that really grinds my gears is the title, for two reasons. For one, what the hell kind of name is Dark Pals? Sounds like something a little kid would come up with. The second reason is that I wouldn't be surprised if this was AI generated too. To be fair, there is a dog mascot to somewhat justify the name, but then again, the dog doesn't even seem to be the primary antagonist. And trust me, we'll get to my thoughts on you. The title could very well be AI generated based on a description that happened to mention there being a dog mascot. So based on all of that, I, for obvious reasons, wasn't gonna go into this game with good expectations, fully expecting to be a complete pile of Dark Pal shit. And boy was I wrong. As I said before, this game has no sort of opening to give any context and just throws us right into the game without any sort of information about what this place is or why we're here. And do you remember when I said that people had actually heard about this game before it officially released? Well, it turns out that I was one of those people. Upon taking a few steps in the very beginning of the game, I immediately recognized everything I was seeing, because I had actually played the demo of this game only a month ago and completely forgot about it until now. I had a full page of a script written for a video on the demo, and I completely forgot about it. I don't have the footage anymore, but I distinctly remember rage quitting in literally the second room because I could not for the life of me figure out what I was supposed to do. Which I find extremely funny, because upon playing this section again for the full game, I figured out what I was supposed to do without even thinking about it. I just did it. What you're supposed to do is use this little sentient octopus squirt gun to play a total of 3 minigames in this large carnival environment, like knocking over bottles, scoring a football goal, and crashing literal hot air balloons. Completing these 3 minigames unlocks the door to the next room, and going through that door, we're met with this visually stunning hallway. And this does actually seem to become a trend throughout this game, with most of the environments actually looking really good. But hey, I'll take anything over Poppy Playtime Chapter 4's grey concrete wall after grey concrete wall aesthetic. Advancing to the end of the hall, we're introduced to the first mascot of the game, being this huge dog thing. Yet he doesn't really have any defining characteristics other than his building block teeth. Also, throughout the entire game, I don't think they actually say what any of the characters' names are. The only way I found out what they are is through the merch store that already exists despite this game being out for less than a week at the point of recording this. Anyway, while looking at this merch store, I found a couple things out. One being that this dog character is supposedly named Chompy Chasey, which again seems very AI generated. And they've also just straight up leaked like 4 other characters that haven't even been mentioned before in the game. And while writing this script, I found out that these 2 characters are from a 2-episode long miniseries uploaded on the Skunx Studios channel titled Dark Pals in Real Life. The first episode of this was released 3 months ago, before even the first chapter was released. Before even a gameplay trailer was out, they made a series about the game in real life, revealing characters that I can only assume will show up in later chapters, 3 months before even the first chapter was released. What is this marketing strategy? Anyway, Chompy Chasey drops this yellow ink vial out of his mouth before scurrying off. Picking up this vial and attaching it to our squid gun, by holding down left click, we can now rapidly fire yellow paint at this door to open it. I'm not sure how this makes any sense in terms of realism, but it's a cool mechanic, so I'll roll with it. Through this door we walk into this really cool, almost fantasy-esque library room. I'll say it again, if I can praise one thing about this game, it's 100% the environments. I mean, just look at this place, it's jaw-dropping. Going down this dragon head shaped slide, we go to the bottom floor of the library, where we have to do a puzzle all while being watched from above by the dog guy. I don't care if it's not his actual name, I'm not calling him Chompy Chasey. To actually do the puzzle in this room, we have to navigate through the floor using these books that stick out of some of the shelves to turn them around and unlock more parts. After a short while of navigating through the maze, we get to a room where we find a key inside a statue of the dog. After taking this key, the dog runs at us from outside the room, smashes his head into the window, and just runs away. Okay, bye. Also, when you pick up the key, it makes us drop the squid gun. I do not understand why this feature exists. It's not like we only have one hand. Unless the player is a little freaky, if you know what I mean. Did the player character have it amputated or something? I don't know. But on the other hand, get it? Other hand? Okay, I'll shut up now. The squid gun does follow us around while we hold other things, which looks really cute. Going back into the maze, we put the key into a different dog statue, which makes it spit out a blue ink vial, which we can then use on this painting to open up the door to a red ink vial. Okay, why are we using ink vials to unlock rooms to different colored ink vials? What is this, Roblox Piggy? Using the red ink vial to open yet another door, we enter into a movie cinema where we watch a short advertisement given to us by Mr. Grin, who's played by Chazington for some reason. Chazington, or Mr. Grin, tells us about a place called Upward, which is basically just Playcare from Poppy Playtime Chapter 3. After that, we go into the backstage projector room, which is once again a really well-made environment. It's covered in cobwebs and dirt, and it just looks really cool compared to something like Ban's colourful wall after colourful wall. Inside this room, we managed to catch a glimpse of this game's primary antagonist. And no, it's not the dog. It's a giant fucking baby with a pacifier for a head. Why does he have nipples? Do a quick puzzle in this room, and we can press a button to play another movie. Pressing the button flashbangs us for some reason, I'm not sure what that's about. And now the cinema is basically completely destroyed. I'm not sure how we could have missed that. There was no sort of sound or crash, just 1 second it was fine and the next, gone. We sit down in a new chair in the front row and the movie starts playing. And wouldn't you know it, Mr. Grin is back, and he's still talking about Upward. But this time, he's describing it as this correctional facility that takes all your negative traits and completely removes them. Okay, so I take it that this place is upwards, like how the description of the game called it a mental health facility. Submit, conform, consume, perform. Those 4 words keep repeating on the screen. Did I just get called submissive by Dark Pals? Immediately after exiting this room, we are thrown into the shortest chase sequence ever, having to run down a singular straight hallway from the dog. What was his name again? Chomp Chasey? At the end of the hallway, we take an abrupt left turn through a pair of doors. The dog slips past before turning back and barging through and almost eating us. Luckily for us, however, the dog is a fat ass, and he gets stuck inside the doors. Stupid idiot. Also, our squid gun seems to be missing. I'm not sure when that happened. Okay, this one took me a while to figure out, but to escape from this room, we have to push down his block teeth like those kids' toys that would bite your hand off as a kid, in a specific order that aligns up to the shapes on the pillars that say the very same words that the movie from earlier kept saying. Submit, conform, consume, perform. Yeah, I take it that these words are supposed to mean something, but I have no idea what. I'm not a theorist. If any of you are smart enough and or care enough to figure out the lore of this game, then feel free to tell me in the comments. After putting in the code through his teeth, he closes his mouth and exits from the back of the door. He also licks my entire body first, which is disgusting, but not a big deal. He sits there on the ground and surprisingly, he lets us pet him, which is just really wholesome. I'm beginning to love this guy. Also, I'd like to point out that the soundtrack that plays during this encounter is surprisingly well done. Not the best out of the game, however, but you'll find out what is soon enough. After befriending the dog, we reunite with our squid gun and progress into the next area, which once again is really well made and visually appealing. I'm not very sure what this room is supposed to be, but it's themed like a fantasy kingdom with dragons and a castle, so I vibe with it. After a bit of exploring through this area, we find ourselves in a shower space in the back of the room. Look a little further and we find an empty ink vial. Turning on one of the showers, we can now fill the empty vial with blue ink. Okay, why is there a shower that sprays blue ink? What possible use could this have, other than being a massive health risk? Taking the newly filled blue ink vial, we go back into the kingdom area and play a little game of shoot the target. This game took me many attempts, as I just could not for the life of me figure out that I was supposed to keep going outside of the game area and down a path back through the whole room. Now, call it a skill issue all you want, but a little bit of a heads up would have been greatly appreciated, Horror Skunx. Once we actually beat the game, it unlocks, you guessed it, another ink vial. Okay, I will admit it, the squid gun and ink vials are a cool mechanic, really unique and implemented well, unlike some other games' fundamental mechanics. But come on guys, using vials to get more vials is just lazy. Just writing this script, I can already think of a way better way for this minigame to work in progressing the story without it just giving you another ink vial. For instance, it could have a scoreboard, and that scoreboard reaches a certain level, it presses a button that lowers the castle drawbridge. See how quick I was able to come up with that? It may not be the best idea, but all I'm saying is that there are plenty of ways to use the squid gun to do things that aren't just to give you another ink vial. It's fine if you use the vial mechanic for things like unlocking new areas and to do puzzles and such, but they use it so fucking much. Here's another idea, this might be a hot take, but I even think the gameplay would be so much better if each vial was infinite or just even rechargeable. And the actual challenge came from unlocking different colors as you progress, instead of each vial just being a one-time use that you need like 70 of throughout the whole game. Just like 5 infinite or rechargeable ones would be so much better. Anyway, enough of my rant about the ink vials, because holy shit, this guy is fucking huge. Okay, so there is a bit of stuff before this, but it's just more irrelevant puzzles that serve no purpose but to pad the game enough so that you can't refund it. So I won't bother talking about them. Oh, but what I will mention is this disc that if you play it shows a video of this woman beating the fuck out of this giant baby guy while he just stands there and takes it like a good boy. I feel so bad for this thing and I've only seen him once. So anyway, he jumps up from above and fucking kills this turtle. Okay, before I continue with the actual game, I have some things I want to say about his design. Whose idea was it to give him nipples? This is such a strange design for me. He's a giant fucking baby with a pacifier for a head, he's wearing a diaper and he has a stomach mouth for some reason. From what I could gather from the most of his appearances is that he has 2 consciousness, both of them having full control over the body, but the baby one is only in control when the stomach mouth is asleep. He also has a disgusting amount of belly folds. Now, I'm not saying he's ugly because he's fat. Wait, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. Look at how he walks, his jiggle physics have jiggle physics. Anyway, we follow him into the next room where he then proceeds to put us to bed. He's sucking himself, oh god, no! This part of the game is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in a mascot horror game. You have to hold down E to peek at him sucking his pacifier head in his stomach mouth for an uncomfortable amount of time. But if you keep your eyes open for too long, then he will catch you peeking and jam his giant head into your chest. This is just plain weird. Also, the gameplay here is stupid. I died to this part so many times, and when I finally got past it, I had no idea how I even did it. What I think happened was I was supposed to just peek at him once, and then when my eyes were fully closed again, I pressed E and he was gone. But there was zero indication that this is what I was supposed to do. I sat here for a whole 10 minutes looking at this disgusting creature sucking on his own head like I'm on rule34.com. Anyway, continuing on, we go through a door that the giant baby left open for us, go through a hallway, get jump scared by this guy, which honestly shouldn't have gotten me as much as it did, and ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the greatest things to come out of this entire game, the Omelette Man.
Hey, it's me, it's Omelette Man. He bakes cookies like nobody can. Hey, it's me, it's Omelette Man. He bakes cookies like nobody can. I have a cookie I baked last night. Just get all the ingredients right. I have some fruits and sweetness as well. Make it right and you won't swell. La 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 la.
This song is the peakest of peaks and has bumped this game up a whole 3 stars for me. This is definitely going in the main playlist. I kid you not, this song loops for this entire section of the game, and I could not have asked for a better song to do that. I mean, look at him, he's so silly! And you know what the best part is? The song is part of the puzzle! The baby gave us this tray thing with 3 different sections: color, base, and topping. If you watch the music video for the Omelette Man song, it shows you 3 different ingredients that you must find to make the perfect cookies, one for each section of the tray. This puzzle took me way too long to figure out, taking me a whole 15 minutes before I finished it and was able to move on. I ended up landing on a combination of blueberries for the color, banana for the base, and white chocolate for the topping. Now, I'm not sure if the combination you get is different each time or if it's the same, but I do hope that it's different every time, because having a random combo each time would mean that you have to pay attention to this glorious music video every playthrough, which would add a lot of replay value for this section. Once we have all of the ingredients, we put them into a slot machine and spin it for some reason. If we have the right combo, the door to the actual baking room opens up, and lo and behold, the baby's in here too, and he's making strange noises at me. I am uncomfortable. I will say that this room is probably one of my favorites in terms of gameplay, specifically because of the way it uses the squid gun. It's not too complex, but it strays enough away from the ink vial unlocks new ink vial trope that I'm really starting to hate. What you need to do is just use the squid gun multiple times to keep the machines on while the cookie runs down the conveyor belt. We do a little bit of trolling, like launching the mixing bowl at the baby. He manages to dodge it, but still understandably gets a little annoyed. Also, the player character seems to be very weak, as they just can't seem to press down the cookie flattening device at all, leaving the baby to do it for them, resulting in him getting even more annoyed at our skinny little noodle arms. Also, I forgot to mention it, but the baby's wearing a big chef hat over his pacifier head now. Just look at him, he's so precious. Oh, and the Omelette Man song is still looping in this room, which is still very funny. The baby, still annoyed, walks into the next room, only for us to be a little bit of a troll again and light the furnace while he's inside of it. He comes out of it in pain because we just fucking burned him alive. But we've also got a cookie now, so all's well that ends well, right? After deciding to eat the cookie myself on the spot, we mysteriously fall unconscious, meaning that the cookie was probably poisoned by someone. Gee, I wonder who did that. We wake up in what I can only assume is an intoxicated dream because of the pure absurdity of the following events that take place. We wake up in the same baking room as before. This time it's completely run down and covered in this purple goop. We try to leave the room, only to find the baby, who grabs us and throws us to the ground. His stomach mouth growls at us because he's evil and shit, but the head fortunately isn't and doesn't want to hurt us, so he puts the pacifier into the stomach mouth to calm him down, I'm assuming. But to no avail, as the mouth spits out the pacifier, screams at us, and then throws us into a chase sequence. The chase itself is mostly uneventful, but it ends with us going to sleep in a bed and having to repeat the same peeking mechanic again as before. This time, instead of waking up after that, however, we fall into a dream within a dream. Now we're back in the ingredient room from before where we met the Omelette Man. Unfortunately, the Omelette Man is nowhere to be seen here. But what we can see is a flying evil cookie with blueberries for eyes. Excuse me, what? Yeah, so the baby tries to hand us the cookie we made on a tray, but the cookie wakes up, starts flying, and screams at us before chasing us, trying to eat us. I have no idea what's even going on at this point. It shoves us to the ground before diving to eat us. Suddenly, we get shoved into the endless void of colourful tiles for some reason, where the same 4 words and shapes from the beginning of the chapter come crashing down around us. Once the last one falls down, both the baby and the cookie reappear. The cookie is about to eat us once again, when the baby comes at him from the side and eats him instead. Just as the baby's stomach mouth is about to eat us, the head regains control and runs back into the shape behind him, which mysteriously turned into a portal somehow. We chase after him and end up back at the start of the baby's chase scene from the beginning of the dream, and just as he's about to start chasing us, we wake up. Seriously, Horror Skunx, what the fuck were you thinking? I'm just imagining the writers talking about ideas for this game to pad it out, and had no ideas, so they just shit the sequence out and call it a day. Hang on, so what I don't understand is, we go to sleep, and inside the dream, we go to sleep again in another room, then we wake up from the second dream in the same room inside the first dream, and then the game continues from there. Does that mean that we're still in the first dream from where he poisoned the cookie, or was that not a dream at all? But then, what the hell is the purple floating stuff? That stuff wasn't there outside of the dream, so what gives? That had to have been a dream, meaning we just woke up from the second Inception dream and are still in the first dream. So, I guess the remainder of this game, we're in a dream then. Okay. Upon re-entering the game, we are immediately thrown into another chase sequence, and I have to say, it's actually a pretty good one. It honestly kinda reminds me of the Mommy Longlegs chase from the end of Poppy Chapter 2. which, mind you, is a great chase sequence. I also especially love the jump scare at this one part. He throws you to the ground and fucking jumps on you with his giant ass realistic foot. Towards the end of the chase sequence, we jump down a small hole in the floor. The baby tries to jump in after us but miserably fails because of his giant ass. Stupid idiot! We keep on walking, no longer being chased, when we come across a bridge in the middle of a giant room. Wow, this sure is a convenient bridge. I sure hope it doesn't start to collapse while I'm on it or anything. Also, to make matters worse, the baby's back. We somehow manage to reach the end of the bridge, but the baby is now right behind us and chases us into a dead end. The baby shoves us both down, crashing through the glass and onto the bottom floor, and just as he's about to eat us, our boy Chomp Chasey comes out of nowhere and shoves him into the wall. Let's go! The baby and the dog start fighting it out while we escape. I died on this part over 10 times because, you guessed it, there was once again zero indication of where to go. It took me so many deaths, and before you go saying it's a skill issue, it is absolutely not a skill issue, it is a brain issue. Because how do you beat this part? You don't look for a hidden door or anything that makes sense. Of course not, this is a mascot horror game after all. No, you sit down on a giant round spinny thing in the center of the room, and by just pure luck, it happens to be an elevator that goes down to the next floor. And just as this elevator starts closing the floor above it that we had just come down from, the baby comes back, jumps in, and gets his head closed off in the door. And because he is obese and his pacifier head isn't strong enough to support his fat ass as the elevator lowers, it rips it off. I've got to tell you, this did actually manage to make me feel a little bad for the character. Even though he had only gotten stuck because he was trying to eat me, yeah, I don't feel bad anymore. Now with the dead baby on the elevator with us, a massive door starts to open up, the credits start rolling, and Corey Kenshin shows up on the TV and calls me submissive. So that was Dark Pals The First Floor, Chapter 1. Hang on, it's called The First Floor, Chapter 1. Does that mean that the first floor is the first chapter and Chapter 2 will be called the second floor? Or is the whole game called The First Floor and Chapter 2 will be The First Floor, Chapter 2? Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Will I be playing it? Probably yeah, because I'm severely content deprived. But overall, I'd say I did actually quite enjoy this game. Not necessarily because of the gameplay, as it is lacking in some departments, but it had some really great environments, and the pure absurdity of some of the sequences gave me a good laugh. So, would I play this chapter again? Probably not. Would I recommend you to play this chapter? I don't know, maybe. I don't think it's worth the $10 price tag in the slightest, but maybe if you're rich and don't mind paying it, then yeah, I'd say go check it out, but I don't know, it's up to you. I hope you all enjoyed this rant about a stupid game. Also, I'm happy to say that I will be making a lot more of these video essay style horror game reviews. So if you like that type of content, then go down and hit the subscribe button. It's free and it goes a long way for someone like me who was forced to pay a $10 price tag for a game I thought I could make a funny video about. Anyway, that's going to be all from me, so I hope you all have a fantastic day. Peace out, guys.